everyone, this is Mark with AdTech, and in this video we're checking out the Dell XPS 13. This is the 2013 model, the 9370, and this model sees the most updates and changes to the XPS lineup since it launched in 2015. We get Windows Hello with both facial recognition and fingerprint reader standard, and it comes with full USB-C and Thunderbolt 3 support with 8 lanes of PCIe. Got a lot of changes. This is my first real Windows laptop, and this is why I think it is the Mac of Windows laptops. So the one and only reason why I picked this laptop over any other of the million Windows laptops out there is because of the build. I've been a Mac fan and I've been using Mac full-time since 2012. Before that, I didn't really have a computer except a really ancient Windows laptop. And I've been accustomed to their amazing build quality, speed, performance. Everything that I love in a laptop is in a MacBook. But I never really considered a Windows laptop before until I became interested in them. I first started off looking at the Surface lineup, and more specifically the Surface Laptop 2. But the lack of I/O was just a really big downside for me and the reason why I didn't get that. So I went out searching for a Mac version of a Windows laptop, and that is where I found the XPS lineup. I wanted something that was going to be really light, thin, and portable for traveling when I didn't specifically need a Mac and its features, but I wanted a full-on laptop. So after a bunch of looking, I settled on the XPS 13 9370. I've had this for about a month now, and I've been playing with it for a while, and here are my impressions from a Mac user on the Apple of Windows laptops. So first of all, the build is really nice. It's made out of aluminum. It's silver just like the original Macs. However, this one seems to get a lot of fingerprints, just like the Macs did. So it may not be the best. They do have a rose gold, which is $100 more expensive, but I like this color better, so that was fine. The bottom metal is a little bit thin. It kind of feels plasticky almost. And then the vents on the bottom, while great for cooling, do seem like they could kind of get bent. So, you know, maybe not the best build, but that's what you're paying for here. While we're talking about build, we might as well talk about the wrist rest. The thing I was really interested in with the Surface Laptop 2 was the Alcantara wrist rest, because the aluminum on the MacBook Pro does get somewhat greasy and slippery. This one is actually a rubber type material. It looks like carbon fiber, and for the most part, it feels pretty nice. It does get greasy and kind of sweaty, but it cleans off fine, and it looks nice as well. So pretty comfortable typing experience. Because it is 2018 and Dell was ahead of their time, this screen is pretty much bezel-less. There's nothing on the top and the left and right sides. On the bottom we have our camera, somewhat of an odd placement, but I was surprised that Windows Hello functionality was not very affected by it. It logged me in as soon as I opened the lid. The screen lights up and you're logged in within seconds. It's actually really accurate and really fast. Unlike Face ID on the iPhone, it does not use dot projection, which means it does not work in the dark. You have to have some sort of light, and a fair bit at that, for it to work. It does use some IR scanners on there, and you can see those, the pinkish lights. It does use that to try and scan your face as best as it can. But the nice thing is that it does include a fingerprint reader in the power button, so if you don't want to use the face scanning, or it's too dark for it to work, just use your finger. It'll log you in very, very fast. I have to say, this is probably faster than the MacBook Pro that I've been using for the last couple of years. It is quite fast, very accurate, and I've never had any issues. So I came from the 2016 MacBook Pro. That's the second generation butterfly keys, which are very loud and very clicky. Luckily, I'm a big fan of them, and coming to this keyboard, I was pretty impressed. It is very clicky, but not too loud. Has great travel. I love the flat chiclet style keys like most laptops, and I was very accurate on them. They feel great to type with. It took me no time at all to get used to them, and that's a really good keyboard on there. It's somewhat similar to the previous generation MacBooks where it had the more raised style, but it has a little less travel than that, but it is very clicky and feels nice. The trackpad is actually glass, which is very nice considering most Windows laptops I've ever tried are plastic. It is nowhere near Apple quality, but it does have Windows Precision drivers, which means you have multi-touch support. Except for swiping back with 2 fingers on browser tabs, you can't go back in history for some reason. But it does work fairly nicely. The gestures are nice, however I don't use them all the time, and it's a pretty good tracking experience. I haven't really had too many issues with that either. Inside of this little laptop is some pretty interesting specs. We have Intel UHD graphics, so no dedicated graphics options. This is not a gaming machine. It is not intended for that, and I have tried and it does not work for that either. It does have a quad-core i7, 8th generation, and it does clock up pretty high. It is not the most spectacular CPU, but I think it works pretty good for what I need it for. It also has a 256GB SSD. This is actually an Intel NVMe SSD, so we'll get some pretty nice speeds on that. It does have a micro SD card slot for expansion. However, I don't really shoot with micro SD cards, and because it has a pretty good amount of storage to start off with, you're not really going to need to expand all that much. We do have 3 USB-C ports, 2 of which are Thunderbolt 3, which I mentioned do support 8 lanes of PCIe for external GPUs at full power, and the other one is just a USB-C port, DisplayPort functionality, no Thunderbolt 3, unfortunately, which is kind of weird. I wish they would have just done all Thunderbolt 3, then you have to worry about which one you're plugging into. But it works for displays as well, so it doesn't really matter which one you plug into unless you're needing Thunderbolt 3 functionality. Speaking of ports, they have this really awesome thing that I've been missing forever on the MacBook Pro, and that was a battery life indicator. You press the button, it'll show you how much battery is left in your computer. No need to open it up or turn it on. Just press the button, and the dots will show you how much of your battery you have left. Very awesome. So far, seems like things are going pretty good, right? There's one thing though that was almost a deal breaker for me, and that was the screen. Now the screen actually is really great. It's only 1080p. I didn't get the 4K touchscreen model. This is non-touchscreen, but considering it's only 1080p, it looks really nice. It's glossy, and I've talked about this before. I love glossy screens. I don't like matte screens because they look pixelated to me. So this one's glossy and it's really nice. However, my biggest issue was scaling. It defaults to 150% scaling. I don't know why they default it to 100 and just scale it up to be 100 and have 100 be normal. I don't know. But you cannot live with 100%. I did a bunch of different testing on scaling, and I signed it and restarted and did a whole bunch of things, and I finally found out that 140% is about the right scaling for me. However, anything below 150% puts your mouse cursor super tiny, you can't even see it. So then I had to scale that up as well. Now the only issue is that some windows scale very big. Some of them are fine. Some of them are really tiny, like Control Panel, but others are okay. Some apps look incredibly blurry even though I have the setting enabled to fix blurry apps, and it still doesn't work. Chrome scales everything to be really, really big, so I had to go into settings and set the default web page scaling to 90%. So now everything looks normal. I've never experienced these issues, even on Windows computers that I've built and other laptops. I've never experienced this before. It is very strange. Maybe it's just because I'm not a laptop or a Windows person, but it's very odd. I got very frustrated with this, but after a bunch of working through this, I think I got it mostly good. So I have to say, this is probably one of the better Windows experiences I've ever had. I had pretty good experiences on computers that I've built, but as a laptop, this is probably the best that I've ever experienced. It's very fast, very smooth. It feels like the hardware is optimized for the software, which is not something you always get. The build quality is really nice. It's like using a Mac with Windows on it, and I really am actually a big fan of this. The only downside is that the mediocre specs are combined with a fairly large price. This is the Apple way, of course, and this is the Apple of Windows computers, so you don't get a lot for your money. However, the XPS lineup is pretty much the only type of computer where you can get all these things. An aluminum build, great performance, very thin and light. The Mac package with a Windows operating system is not very easy to find, and you are definitely paying for that with this laptop. But if you don't care about gaming performance and you more care about looks and functionality, this is a really good laptop. I'm excited to see what they come out with next year. Hopefully all Thunderbolt 3 and maybe a touchscreen at the base model, but that's just hoping. And that's it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, leave a like and hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. This is Mark with AtTech, and I'll see you in the next one.